that today's generation is not very inclined towards reading books. Right? That is sad. The youth to have access to right kind of mentors, to listen to people who've done things in life, who've guided so many people. Read now, don't read now, sit on the table, do this, do that. From a disciplinary point of view, it all looks okay.
Yeah.
But sir, curiosity gets killed.
Hi, friends. It's an honor to have Manish sir with us. Uh, I don't think I will call you an intelligent person, especially in the social media space, if you don't know who is Manish Pandey. So that's a teacher in Radhakrishnan Pillai speaking, which tells that I will not like you if you don't know who Manish Pandey is. But for those people who don't know Manish Pandey, he is one of those brains of this particular country and globally in the space of social media. I call him the Chanakya in the social media space. And believe me, I mean it. I want to tell you how I met him for the first time. But before that, I want to just tell you that we are honored to have you on the show because he guides so many people. He has created stars. He's a kingmaker in the social media space. What he does is not seen on social media, but what he does is made and used by the social media experts and faces across the globe. He's an influencer for the influencers. That's the way I look at it. For me specifically, he's my mentor and guide in the social media space. So that's why it's an honor to have Manish sir on this particular program and discussing so many ideas. So let me start by first of all telling how I met Manish sir, and I want to listen to him how he met me. So it was my third book, Chanakya in You.
Yeah.
First was Corporate Chanakya, all if you know about it. The second book was Chanakya, Seven Secrets of Leadership. All doing well, God's grace. But third one took off to a different league, Chanakya in You. It went on to actually become India's number one book and got the Crossroad Book of the Year award. And I was so fortunate that there was a lot of background to this which people don't understand. You may have written the best book, it may have become the bestseller, but to reach it out to the right audience, which is called the youth, actually Manish sir was responsible. I remember my first interaction that I happened with the IKF team. And that's when I met him in his Pune office. And he said, Sir, aapka video banana hai. मतलब बनाओ video. But that creative video was the first time I actually went and saw the impact. Since then, it's not been a single moment of looking back of giving importance to social media. All of you know how big our social media team's impact has been, but the brain of the content could be me, but the brain behind doing this in a big way is the person right next to me, Manish sir. So with that, I like to welcome him. And Manish sir, I would like to know,
Thank
how
you,
did
sir.
you come to know about me and this work that I'm doing on Chanakya?
First of all, when you say sir, समझ में नहीं आता है that how to react, because I keep telling you that sir तो मत बोलिए please. But I clearly remember I had shifted to Bombay. I was setting up IKF's Bombay office, and both me and Ashish sir were fascinated with your book Corporate Chanakya. We've read it several times, and then we used to think that where is this person? And by the way you've written the book and all, and it already gave us a little bit of hint that this person has a monk mindset. And I used to cook stories in my head that this guy is not somewhere here in the city, he's somewhere sitting, somewhere in the mountains or maybe by the sea, and he's writing such an amazing book. But then I said, let me try my luck, and I put your name on Facebook, and I saw your Facebook profile. So I said, okay, Chanakya is traceable. And then I dropped a text. I remember it was, I think, 12:30 in the night. I dropped a text to you saying, it was a cold email. My name is so and so. I do so and so, and I've read this book of yours, and I'm in Bombay. If you are in Bombay, I would like to meet you. And you replied the next day, and that's how I found myself in University of Mumbai in your office, and we spoke. And that day you heard me. You just heard. I mean, I was talking for 1 hour, and you just heard. And then you said one thing: do what you want to do. That's what you said. And yeah, cut to then we invited you in our Pune office because my headquarter office was in Pune that time. And then we presented you a plan of how Chanakya as a brand should look. And then you said that my book is coming. What can you do for the book? I don't care about my brand, but what can you do about the book? And then is how we designed the whole Chanakya you book thing, book brand. I got in touch with the Crossword guys, and we said, "What are you guys doing? This is what my plan is." And I think they also were awestruck, saying, "Okay, this is something that we wanted to do all this time, but we didn't know how to convince RKP for this." And I said, "You forget about convincing RKP. RKP is convinced. Let's do it." And that's how it happened. And then, sir, the result you already said that the book created its mark. And after that, sir, people don't have so many books in their library who've written those many books. It's all there. And yeah, that's been the journey. And I'm so happy and I'm so fortunate that I got to meet you. I mean, every time I meet you, I learn 10,000 things, and I give one or two things, which are skills that I've learned on my way. So yeah, this is the story, I think. Yeah.
No, but what's interesting, Manish sir, I really call him sir. Age-wise, he always says, sir, aap bade ho, knowledge mein bade ho. That's fine, but which I've learned from Chanakya also and from my teachers. When it comes to experience and wisdom, whoever it may be,
Yeah.
he or she
Mm-hmm.
has to be respected. And believe me, many of you have seen me in the Ranveer show, and he's connected me to so many stalwarts. I remember the meeting we had with some of the top YouTubers.
Yeah.
There's a book coming out on India's top YouTubers. So it is not just about both of us, but I can understand the youth and the YouTuber world or the content world through the eyes of Manish sir. In fact, I want to share a very interesting instance that happened. Manish sir just texted me, would you like to be on the Ranveer show? I was like, wow, Deepika Padukone's husband does a show. So, that was the first impression. I never tell no to Manish sir because when he says, I would say yes. But at the same time, he said, no, not that Ranveer. I said, which Ranveer are you talking about? Because that's the only Ranveer
that you know of.
that I know of. Then he said, no, he's a youth, he's an influencer. I said, okay, आपने बोला है तो मिलना है.
Yeah.
I landed up in such a young, handsome boy. And then he said, Radha sir, क्या? Can I come and meet to your office? And yes, and he said, I requested you have a studio. Why didn't you come there? मैं बोला, पता नहीं. That was a life-changing point.
Yeah.
Because I realized one thing, our generation, see, I'm 47 right now, maybe we are trying to learn the skills, but that's the world that you got opened through me, through Ranveer and many others
Yeah.
whom you mentor.
Yeah.
That the world that the youngsters that you are guiding is totally different.
Yeah.
And believe me, since then, whenever anything comes up, many of you seen my podcast with Ranveer many times, and many others, of course,
Yeah.
that's because I realized one thing that, our generation of stars, maybe Shah Rukh Khan and many others, of course, they're still there, and Amitabh Bachchan, Akshay Kumar. But believe me, I started realizing that today, even the stars of our generation, the celebrities of our generation require the guidance of the YouTube stars whom you guide.
Yeah.
So tell me one thing, where do you see this whole content, YouTube, social media space moving on from where it was once to where it is today?
Yeah, sir. I'll give you a little pretext to it. So, for example, my whole idea of asking you to come on Ranveer's podcast was because what I saw that today's generation is not very inclined towards reading books. Right? That is sad. And I said that if they are not reading book, can I get the person who writes meaningful books and tell them that what will they gain from reading a book, or give them a crash course which is a summary of the book for them to make interesting. So it was from that school of thought that there are different type of content that's being put online. 80% of it is entertainment based, and that is not wrong, that is all fine. 20% of it is infotainment and education based, right? But I wanted the youth to have access to right kind of mentors, to listen to people who've done things in life, who've guided so many people. I mean, I know that there are so many top leaders of this nation, from politicians to CEOs to C level executives to so many philanthropists. and I've seen you mentoring them, right? I mean, you've spoken on TAI, you've spoken on CII, you've spoken on whatnot platform, like from TEDx to Joe Stocks to all the platforms you have spoken, right? There is a sect of people, the top layer, they know you and respect you. I wanted, and call it a selfish approach. I wanted that why should these people have access to Radha sir and these people not have? And that was the whole intent of getting you on Ranveer show or any other podcast that you've been, like you've interacted with Prakhar recently. Prakhar sits in the,
Yes.
I think he's in one of the Ivy League colleges.
Yes.
He's studying psychology.
Yeah.
So you interacted with him. That guy is also, he thinks in a different level altogether. So that is why I wanted, you know, the youth to taste the honey, you know, and try and understand that there is so much to learn, right? Another thing, I wanted youth to get into this reading habit. If not reading, at least listen to people who've been writing books, right? Now if you see, sir, Western countries, they already do this.
Okay.
There are people who equally pay attention to entertainment, at the same time educating themselves online. Slowly it's happening in our own in our country also. I want best of the best to be out there. That is why I had you on the show.
Wow.
That was the thought behind it. Now to answer your question, that where is this social media going? It is exponentially growing. It is uncontrolled wildfire. I'm so happy to see that today we have young kids aged 13 to 19 doing amazing work, doing exponentially great work. At the same time, the same age group is highly misguided too.
Yes.
Right? So now I'm not judging anybody here, or I'm not trying to put a statement saying that people are misguided now. It's just that their action speaks for it, right? And it is not a complaint. I take it as an onus for all responsible content creators out there to feed them with right kind of information, to feed them with right kind of guidance, to feed them with things which is not available in their circuit while they are growing.
True.
For them to get a direction.
Right.
Technology wise, they know it all. They know it more than what I know, and they know it more than what you know, or our teams know today, right? I mean, it's kind of crazy if you see the kind of knowledge these kids have.
Yes.
Of the technology.
Yes.
But with yantrik,
yes,
the antrik is required.
Right.
So what I'm trying to do in everyday effort, that have the knowledge of tantra but look within. So that's the approach that I'm taking, sir.
And in fact, that gives me two questions.
Yeah.
So number one is that youth of India, which is getting influenced, pluses and minuses through the social media. The second one, I'm going to take that as a separate question.
Yeah.
Is now you mentioned about yantra, tantra. There is a M in this M. There's a monk in this Manish. Because I'm going to talk about that spiritual side of him very separately. But before that, I'm a teacher, Manish sir, and it pains to me, and also I feel happy about it. That this whole generation of youth is not about roti kapda makan, bijli sadak pani. Fortunately, because of parents and the previous generations, we are reasonably well off. We may not be the richest part of the world, but at least we are not here about talking about survival problems.
Mm-hmm.
And you absolutely put it very nicely that this youth requires direction. They are misguided. And somewhere I feel probably the education system, or for that matter, I'm very careful about my words. Even the families are not able to guide the youth. Parents love their children, children love their parents, but there's such a big gap. I have seen so many parents coming to me and trying to tell, mere bachche ka career kya karna hai. And then I said, listen, career, it's an old generation word. And career always meant for them something called about earning. I think today people have in schools and colleges actually earning much more than their own parents who are in the fag end of their career. So I think there are two major problems with the youth. The way I look at it, they require guidance. Number
Yeah.
one. Second is they also are so much full of potential, but they don't know. So this is the teacher in me, and I'm trying my little best to get back Chanakya and ancient Indian wisdom. My question over here, Manish sir, is that as a teacher yourself, as a mentor guide to the youth of various platforms, what's your way of looking at what can we do for the youth of India so that they can contribute to India as well?
So the first and foremost thing is to trust them
Wow, trust them.
and listen to them. The
Wow.
the youth is not being heard, I guess. And as you very nicely put, in our society, I don't know how it works in the other countries, but at least in India and any part of India, kids grow up with instructions: do this, do that, don't do this, don't do
Yes,
that,
yes.
don't touch it, don't touch that, read now, don't read now, sit on the table, do this, do that. From a disciplinary point of view, it all looks okay.
Yeah,
But sir, curiosity gets killed
true,
while
true.
they are given a blueprint
Mm.
to do everything.
Mm.
I think there has to be a mix of both. I'm not saying that, okay, eradicate this, become radical. No,
Mm.
there has to be a mix of both. So the
Mm.
parents of today's generation, I think they have a preconceived notion that if the kid is internet, they must be watching something wrong.
Yes.
If they are going out, they might be doing something wrong.
Yeah.
If they are doing this, so the trust factor between parents and the kids are going away.
Yes.
They might not face each other and address this.
Yes.
They might not face each other and confess or convey it to each other that this is what I have. I think that insecurity has to go away and the level of trust has to come. Sir, I know so many young kids, 11-year-old से लेके 19-20-year-old तक, absolutely brilliant. I was telling you about a kid before this. His name is Aryan, and I was talking to him. Now the 17-year-old, no, he's 16, I guess, 16-year-old kid sat me down and taught me entire blockchain, what blockchain is about, how cryptocurrency is working, why we should not look at it as a trading thing, but look at the technology behind it. And I told, this is so spiritual.
Wow.
Because what blockchain is trying to do is trying to solve problem of inequality. It is trying to bring equality, right? What it is trying to do is it is trying to curb all the middlemen, this, that, and making an equal opportunity for everybody. Many kind of things will be taken off. Then I understood. He made me understand something called NFT. NFT is non-fungible token.
Okay.
It is a layer on a blockchain, right? And for example, what we can do is, let us say, all the books that you have written, it it is kind of, you will get an authentication mark done on all the digital content that you have.
Wow.
And every time it is being used by some or the other person, you get credited for it. It depends on you if you want to take a part of say royalty every time it is used, or you want to just have a credit. And there are many things, right? Now I'm not going deep in the subject because I myself am learning a lot right now. Things that I have said, this also is not completely like structured. However, I'm trying to tell you that 16, what I'm the moral of the story is, the 16-year-old taught me all this in last 2 days,
Wow. Wow.
right? So
Like
this
how you
is
like how you teach with
okay.
social media.
Yeah, exactly. And I was blown away, sir. And now let me give you a little pre-context to the kid's life. Both the parents are doctors. Both the parents are successful ophthalmologists.
Oh.
Now imagine, in their eyes, a kid, for them, it's a rookie work, because blockchain does not have a university. You don't get a certification in that today. You might not get a degree out of it, right? But the guy is already been picked by Eric Smith's team.
Really?
Yeah. who's Google's co-founder, as a smart brain, put in a program, and he will do something in his life. So 16-year-old.
And you met him.
Yeah, I met him and I learned from him. I also took him to Ranveer's office. I made him meet Ranveer, and I said, "Hey, baith ke seek. Let us learn from him." And Ranveer like, whoa. And Ranveer knows all, right? Like he knows what is happening and all of that. And video, he's that I mean, you and me both will feel old in front of him.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right. The kind of things he knows, the people he hangs out with, the access of information that he has, the kind of things he creates. And he was also like, he took a seat back and he said, I think it's time to reinvent ourselves and try and talk. And this is what we changed. Ranveer keeps going and he plays football and all. Now what he's doing is he's playing football with younger kids. So Ranveer is 27. I told him, Ranveer, you play football only with 16-year-old to 20-year-old. When you play, you also get camaraderie. You know that whole thing happens when you're on the field. And then he chats with those guys. What is going wrong in my content? What are you liking? What are you not liking? And these kids, they give brutal feedback, honest, brutal feedback. And then we come back, we structure it, we apply in the content. So this is where the youth is going, sir. This is where one direction of youth is to going. So yeah, we have to bestow more trust in the
In
youth.
fact, I remember some of you must have watched it in some of my interviews and talks. Chanakya speaks about a concept called as Vriddha Sanyoga, which means learning by associating with experts and elders.
Yeah.
And we always say, an elder need not be only elder by age. He or she can have experience better than you. So they may be younger by age, but they are Jnana Vriddha, not necessarily Ayu Vriddha.
Yeah.
Ayu Vriddha is by age and
Age.
Jnana Vriddha is by knowledge. So yes, your 16-year-old can be much, much better than a 47 or a 50 or a 60-year-old person. So I think that brings in a very interesting concept of reverse mentoring.
Mm-hmm.
So let the youngsters mentor you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Coming back to the other part of the question, India. Youth and India, what's your thoughts?
I think I believe that we are sitting on an undiscovered potential. I would urge our political leaders and intellectual leaders to kind of come on one table and actually think what they should do with this potential that we have.
Oh.
We definitely have all the recipes that is needed to be the superpower in the world, and not from a competition point of view, but from a point of view that we are self-sustained, right? We don't have to look outside for help, right? I mean, in a nuclear way, sir. I mean, what is that one thing that you look for, right? That you are samridh in such a way
Yes.
that you don't have to ask for any debt. You have food on table with dignity, right? Your healthcare is taken care of. Your education and kids educations and everything is taken care of, and then you have a little extra with you, and you understand the definition of enough, and you sustain your life. Now this is what everybody kind of thinks of as first step, in even if we say, okay, Marx law, law of hierarchy and all of that. So if you take this concept and apply on the country level, that's what we need. I think we have all the potential. uh, Technically, our education budget should be more than a defense budget.
Yes.
I mean, that is one thing I would like
Perfect.
that to happen.
Perfect.
I would let the government, I would urge the government and the intellectual people to understand all the new kind of technology, adopt it. You know, uh, we have this mentality before anything comes. We start only seeing the scary part of it, and we only, अरे ये हो जाएगा, वो हो जाएगा. First people said कंप्यूटर आएगा तो जॉब चला जाएगा. Now they are saying AI आ रहा है, जॉब चला जाएगा. किसी के भी आने से कोई भी चीज नहीं होगा, right? So I think people have to be more mindful.
Yes.
Leaders sitting at the top need to be more mindful,
Right.
and let the youth, decide their fate.
In fact, Manish sir, what you said was something so interesting that if the leaders come down and listen to the youth, Probably they will give them what is the
And sir,
future.
without an agenda. That's very, very important. Reason is because I see people gather, right? And they say, okay, we're gonna go to this college and we'll talk to the kids, right? They only talk, they don't listen. Anybody will go on the stage, speech, and there is a small Q&A round. Selected students ask question. No, please go sit in between those kids and don't sit in an auditorium. Create groups. Go under a tree. Sit under a tree. Niche baitho. And then listen to the kids. Just listen to them. Let them criticize you. Let them point fingers at you. Let them ask you stupid questions. Keep your ego at home and go. Forget who you are. Only when we do this, I I believe we will go in a right direction of creating a structured recipe that is required for us to again become the superpower.
I like this particular point, and been fortunate that what Chanakya said, the various qualities of a leader, the 52 qualities that I've given, but one of the very prominent qualities is listening. You'd be surprised, when Manish sir mentioned about our first meeting. I didn't realize it. I had almost forgotten it. That
Yeah.
he came to the university and he was talking and I was listening.
Yeah. And it was 2 hours, you just listened. And you said only one thing. You said, do what you want to do. That's exactly what you said. Then I got in touch with Pranav and I met the team and then things started. But the only thing you said was do what you want to do.
Thank you.
And I think it was such a relief because people have rebuttals, people have questions, people cross question, right? But what you did, sir, was you trusted me. And I'm sure, I mean, you're spiritually involved, so you must have seen the passion and the kind of enthusiasm I had. And at that time, I remember I was what, 24. It was 6 7 years ago. Yeah, so I was pretty young that time. And you already you had so much. When I entered the university and I said I'm Radha sir's guest, I knew how I was taken to your cabin.
Really?
I had 7 to 8 students escort me. So you have so much respect in the university. So and you made me feel so, like I went from that meeting with so many lessons, that this person did not interrupt. He just listened. And I remember you made me meet the vice chancellor ma'am also that day. She was there in your she had come. And then you explained what I explained, and she said that this should be implemented for the university as well. And I was like, wow. So much is not happening and so much should happen. So that was very humbling, sir. That was very humbling for me.
Thank you so much. See, I forgot this, but this is something probably I think I've been trying to practice. And when our youngsters and especially kids come and they want to talk to me, I remember this word. They want to talk to me,
Yeah.
not just meet me. And believe me, I'm sure Manish, you're doing that with the other young generation who comes to you. But now I want to come to that M in M. This listening quality
Yeah.
doesn't just happen by attending courses. Okay, so let me be very frank
Yeah.
about it. Listening is a deep spiritual quality. Okay, and there is a monk in Manish, which probably not many people know. Of course, many people know it. He has spoken about it much more than I do about my spiritual part of it. The meditation, the Himalayan experience, the grandfather's connection
Yeah.
with Indian culture. I want the world to know about that side of you beyond the social media. Think about it. The social media and the marketing and psychology at one end. The other side, the person who likes to be, I would not say an introvert, but somebody who likes to spend time with himself.
Yeah.
I think that's the real Manish for me. Inside out, not just outside in. So the inside part of you.
So, sir, I recently understood something about myself, and I used to always say that I really don't have anybody around me, and am I lonely? Then I understood that being alone does not mean that you are lonely. Being alone means you are actually giving yourself time to understand who you are, what you want to do, and all of it,
Yes.
right? And because of the kind of work we did in the second phase of COVID, and it was very, very daunting, right? It put me to a lot of questions, and it told me, because I saw people helpless because they didn't have their family around. And then it reminded me of my own life, that I never had my family around me. I mean, sir, that I started my career at the age of 11 and all of it, right? So I mean, that the other part, the devil part inside me, and we all have it, kind of got awakened, and it started telling me that you are also going to end up like. After struggling for 3 to 4 months, I understood that no, I'm not lonely. I've chosen to be alone. And the reason why I've chosen to be alone is because then I get too much of introspection time.
Yes.
Right? So that's a very, very fortunate. I was very fortunate that I spent my primary years in Nepal.
Yeah.
And my Nanaji kind of taught me a lot of things, and he always left me with statements which were open ended and let me think about it. So many things that he used to just pass it on and tell me like a statement, I understand the meaning of those now. When I am in the life, in practical, out there in the sun, I understand what he meant, right? So yeah, I mean, I'm very grateful that he put a structure to my life, and I have been following that structure to my life, right? Too many people ask me, what is the kind of meditation do you follow? What is, what do you do? What is the structure of the day? I said everything that I do is meditative. I do one thing at a time, and I don't have some school of thought or that school of thought, or follow any religion or not follow any religion, anything like that. I think what I really think is, sir, anything that we do, if we do it with utmost sincerity, nothing can be more meditative than that, right? But then yes, we have to see that our actions that we are doing should not hurt anybody, or disrupt anybody's life. So by saying that all the wrong things gets cancelled itself, then you're only left with the good kind of things, which adds value to other people's life and your life while you do it for others, right? So every time when you say, or when anybody says that, oh, you mentor me, or you do this and that, in the whole process my revision is happening.
Wow.
So ultimately I am learning more. Ultimately my knowledge is becoming wisdom, right? Otherwise we collect information by reading books, we make it a knowledge, but the wisdom does not come out of it. Now wisdom only comes when you transfer that knowledge to somebody else. Then this is the process that I follow in life. This is how it has been. So yeah, that's the Eminem part that you're talking about. Yeah.
Vanessa, you said something very interesting. Knowledge being transferred to somebody else becomes wisdom.
Yeah.
Wow, I think that's a great statement, because today is a world of hyper information, as you
Yeah,
said,
yeah.
too much information pollution. But when you distill it and get mentored, it becomes knowledge.
Yeah.
But when you teach it to somebody else, pass it on, that becomes wisdom. I think that's a great insight from your learnings and observation. Uh, Coming back to what probably you are lucky, and maybe I'm lucky because of my parenting and
Yeah.
family, that we have been in the spiritual path because of
Yeah.
various reasons.
Yeah.
But I was with the spiritual master very recently, Gaurang Das Prabhuji.
Mhm.
So all of you know him. And he said something, Radha, you're very fortunate. Not everybody, maybe we are fortunate, not everybody gets into the spiritual path so early. I would say almost like he mentioned, and it was like shocking. The spiritual master was so active in this world. He said 99.999% are not in the spiritual path in this country, which is known for its spirituality.
Yeah.
So if we are talking about spirituality, and of course the insights like loneliness and aloneness, this doesn't come to everybody easily.
Yeah.
It comes because of some introduction by somebody, maybe
Yeah.
your grandfather, in my
Yeah.
case, my
Yeah.
father,
Yeah.
Chinmaya Mission, a lot
Yeah.
of things. So my first thing, since you work with the youth, understand the youth, so much things.
Yeah.
What would be the right way for that remaining 99.999% to come into spirituality?
Sir, I think I believe the way you can do is by not forcing it on them.
Okay.
It is by just letting them know that this exists, and this has solved so many problems for so many people.
Right.
Why did you try it out? Sir, let me put it this way.
Makes sense.
Let me put it this way.
Yeah.
Anything that we kind of judge people, right? So, for example, let us say if we see somebody drinking a lot of alcohol, we judge.
True.
Somebody smoking, we judge.
Yeah.
Right? How did they get into that smoking and drinking? Somebody must have introduced. Somebody must have given some kind of information.
Trigger point. Yeah.
Trigger point.
Yes.
Why can't we create trigger point for spirituality?
Wow.
If that thing can catch a wildfire, this thing can too, for the right reasons. Don't take wildfire as a wrong example. For the right reasons.
Absolutely. It becomes a habit.
Again, my point is, okay, let me give you an example of Ranveer only.
Okay.
Right? So he's made a video about it and saw out there about how I met and what happened and all of it. Right? I never told him that you should cut down on alcohol. I never told him you should cut down on your meat eating. I never told him that. I said, listen, I don't do it.
That's enough.
He asked me, how are you so calm all the time? I don't do this. You wanna try it? Try karke dekh. Never told him to do this. Because sir, that the young generation and even us when we were kids, right? We have this innate thing of if somebody says do this, we would do opposite of it.
Yes.
That's nature.
The rebel in you.
That's human nature, right? So why force them to do that? Like for example, today I see there are so many spiritual establishments across the country.
Yes.
Right? And some of them they get behind you with a sales pitch.
Yes.
That take this course, do that course, come to the ashram, do this, do that. वैसे करोगे तो नहीं आएंगे. Just say the ashram's doors and gates are open
for you.
You can come whenever you want. You spend time. You go. You any which ways go for holiday.
Sure.
These places are created like retreats. Come, get soaked. If you like it, fine. If you don't like it, fine. I mean, not everybody has to become spiritual in this world. I mean, 7 billion plus people. We all know that not everybody will become. Not everybody will take some path. So just keep it open. Don't force it. Sir, if we force anything on anybody, it's not going to work.
It's not going to work. Absolutely, it's not going to work. Show them the path, get them onto the path. Yeah. It's your choice whether to continue on the path or no.
Right. We cannot decide how anybody should live their life.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
So this is what should not happen on a dinner table also. Like, don't say this, you should do this, you must do this, you must not do that, this, that. Please learn the art of storytelling and narrate a story कि क्या करने से क्या होता है, क्या करने से क्या होता है. Simple. Wow. That is what is required. The art of storytelling has to enter on the dinner table.
That's amazing.
It has to enter. Because sir, on the dinner table, it feels like interrogation.
Correct.
What did you do today? What happened?
Correct.
What happened in school?
Correct.
What happened there? What happened there? Did you do your homework? This, that. It feels like an interview every night. Who would like an interview every night?
Absolutely. Right? We want to go with the flow. It's a family.
Yeah.
I think you mentioned something very nice about, almost getting family discussions as code of conduct, what to do and what not to do. And the people don't open out. Even if you've done mistakes, I mean, it's fine. It's okay. Let's discuss. Usually, more than discussion, it turns up into more argumentation.
Yeah.
So I think that's a great insight about, let them come to the path, introduce them, but don't force them into the path. That can become fanatic also.
Yeah, it can be. I mean, sir, okay, I'll tell you something. This might it will sound a little awkward, but it is truth. So, we cannot defy from that, right? We hear this word, right? That this person got converted in that religion.
Yes.
This person got converted in that certain religion, right? Why is there so much angst in it? Because they were forced.
True.
Right?
True.
And I don't want to take any religion's name here because it has happened this way also and that way also.
True.
Right?
True.
But why is there animosity? Animosity is there because it was a forceful action.
Yes.
Right? So why force spirituality on anybody? I don't want to force spirituality on anybody. I don't want to say, oh, you must do this. This is the ultimate way of life. No, it is not. It's a choice. It exists. तुम मानोगे तो भी वो रहेगा, नहीं मानोगे तो भी वो रहेगा.
बिल्कुल.
Right?
Absolutely.
Many people call things names, right? Oh, what is this yoga? What is this? What is this? I mean, this is absolute not a way. Do this, do that, don't do this. If somebody is calling something a name, it itself means that they are not ready to accept.
Yes.
And we all know that we don't know everything in the world
Right.
at all. We
Ah.
don't know what all is happening. We don't know how large this universe is. Our planet is such a small planet in such a big solar system. And our solar system is such a small solar system in so many, galaxies. Please look into it. If not from the spiritual angle, from scientific angle, you will get your answer.
Wow. Wow.
This is how it has to be looked, I guess.
So nice. So much thoughts, so much less time. We are going to continue, keep talking again and again and again, online, offline. But I think one of the things that I picked up is that, I remember 2, 3 monks that I interacted with. They're big monks like Ramakrishna
Yeah.
Mission and so
Yeah.
many other. And something common thread I found that whenever they go for public platforms, they just tell this one line, "Aap hamare ashram mein aa jaiye." And believe me, some people just land up over there, and
Yeah.
then some of them just get into the introduction. So I think our job is to introduce.
Yeah.
Whether they come or no, it's a different story.
Yeah, you should not force them. You should not follow up.
But at least inform them कि
Yeah.
ये जगह है, आ तो जाइए,
जाओ.
एक बार देख लो.
Correct.
So let me put it this way: we have a beautiful office, and we have made it with a spiritual touch. Okay, so please welcome to the office. आओगे कितने लोग पता नहीं है. Food will be provided. Don't worry. Time will be given with all our members. I'll tell you this, Manish sir, why I keep going to every platform and tell you, please come, our office is open, because somewhere we have built it as a team, as a
Yeah.
company, where probably we are working with so many youngsters, promoting Indian culture, not converting into Indian culture.
Yeah.
Because we're convinced of the knowledge that we have.
Yes.
So yes, thank you
Yeah.
so much. If you want to get introduced to spirituality, please welcome to our office.
Yeah, definitely yes. I mean, start from the books at least.
Absolutely.
If not coming to the office, please go to Amazon, Flipkart, wherever, and buy all the Chanakya books. Pick any and start reading. I mean, I have read almost all of them. So,
see, marketing guys will not.
yeah. I mean, so yeah.
Last
that.
and most important, at least for this video,
Yeah.
your final advice takeaway. But this time I'm going to ask you, what would you advise for the elder generation, not the younger?
This is a tough question. The reason why I say it's a tough question is because मेरे बोलने ना बोलने से फर्क नहीं पड़ता.
बोलो जरूर.
Because I don't know how much elder. I mean, there are very few people like you who listen. so yeah, but I think what I would like to urge to all the elder members who are seeing this or will be shown to them is trust the generation. In the process of trusting, your trust might be broken. Give second chance.
Wow.
Give that second chance, and I believe in this, that the second chance will be respected, and believe and join hands in what the young generation is doing. They are absolutely doing magical things, right? So join that, and it goes, when I say elder generation, it is not for just for the family.
Yeah.
For people who are sitting at the position of power, for political leaders, for bureaucrats, for corporate leaders who are running organization, and all of it. Because please understand, however you behave with them, they are going to behave the certain way with the younger generation. Not everybody will have that spiritual wisdom.
Yes.
Of saying, oh no, if this was done to me, I will not make sure that this I won't do, right? So whatever you're doing to this generation is going to percolate to many generations. So please do that.
Yes.
That's the last thing I would like to say.
Absolutely. So all the youngsters who are listening, please make sure your parents listen to this.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's very important.
Thank you so much. But finishing off this particular show, let's bridge the generation gap through mutual respect. While the parents need to listen to the youngsters,
Yeah.
the youngsters also need to respect the parents as well. So I
100%.
think we are a country where age was never a matter, but wisdom is always the most important matter. So be wise, be a person who will contribute to the society more than what you take. He's contributed so much with his wisdom and experience. He's created leaders. I'm sure you'll watch all other videos of his. Please go on social media. Manish sir is all over guiding so many people. And here is my last advice to all of you: try and get in touch with him. If you get a moment with him, it will transform you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. You're very kind. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.